Okay, so for today's lesson, we are going to be looking at generating inference bubbles based on the text. Now, our inference bubbles are going to be focusing on characters' feelings and emotions. Remember, inference is where the answer isn't in the text. We have to use the clues and the information we've been given to generate our answers. So if we're looking for feelings, we're not going to see those words written down. So for example, if the text said Percy was feeling upset, I haven't generated an inference there because it's telling me in the text that Percy is feeling upset. However, if the text was to say Percy had a glum look on his face, I would be able to infer that he is feeling upset because of his facial expression. So we're going to have a look at some of the sentences from page 44 of chapter 3 of Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief together. And we're going to generate some inference bubbles. So, we tore through the night along dark country roads. Wind slammed against the Camaro. Rain lashed the windshield. I didn't know how my mum could see anything, but she kept her foot on the gas. So from those sentences, I can infer that Percy's mum could be feeling afraid. Now, I think this because she's struggling to see due to the weather, but she hasn't pulled the car over. She's continued. She's obviously in a hurry to get somewhere. So it could be the idea that she's afraid if she stops, something bad could happen. So I'm going to draw my bubble. And I'm going to put the word afraid in my first inference bubble. Now, I might also infer that she's worried about something. Something's obviously playing on her mind if she's ignoring the weather and continuing with her journey. So I'm going to write the word worried in another one of my inference bubbles. You might have inferred a different emotion, and that's absolutely fine. Every time there was a flash of lightning, I looked at Grover sitting next to me in the back seat, and I wondered if I'd gone insane, or if he was wearing some kind of shag carpet trousers. But no, the smell was one I remembered from kindergarten field trips to the petting zoo. Lanolin, like from wool, the smell of a wet barnyard animal. All I could think to say was, so you and my mum know each other. So at this point, I might infer that Percy Jackson is feeling confused. The fact that he is having to ask for confirmation that Grover and his mum know each other indicates to me that this isn't something he was aware of. So he's confused how all of a sudden his mum and his best friend are having conversations about him. Grover's eyes flitted to the rear-view mirror, though there were no cars behind us. So to me, if Grover's eyes are flitting towards the rear-view mirror, it's the idea that he's looking for something. So again, I might highlight that Grover could be feeling anxious. So I've thought of a synonym for worried there. Remember, a synonym is a different word that has the same meaning. Okay, so Grover's feeling anxious. He's looking to that rear view mirror. He's checking. Okay, I might then also think he might be feeling afraid of something. So I'm going to think of a synonym for afraid, and I'm going to use petrified. Not exactly, he said. I mean, we've never met in person, but she knew I was watching you. Watching me? Keeping tabs on you, making sure you were okay. But I wasn't faking being your friend, he added hastily. I am your friend. So the fact that he's having to convince Percy that he is his friend and he's saying something hastily, it again indicates that he's a bit worried. He doesn't want Percy to feel that he's not his friend or that he's betrayed him. So we might say that Grover is feeling nervous. Percy is important to him and he wants him to know that. What are you exactly? So this further highlights the idea that Percy Jackson may be feeling a little bit confused at this moment in time. So we've had a look at page 44 together and generated some inference bubbles. I'd like you to have a go at page 45 independently now. Remember, inferring your character's emotions, their emotion isn't going to be in the text. You've got to look at their actions. So for example, for anxious, we looked at the fact that Grover's eyes were flitting towards that rear view mirror. For afraid and worried, we talked about the fact that Percy's mum kept her foot on the gas and kept driving despite the horrific weather conditions. For confused, we looked at the fact that Percy was asking questions to Grover. He wanted to know what was going on. He was being inquisitive. For petrified, that further highlighted how Grover could have been feeling when he was looking in that rear view mirror. Nervous as well. We can see the importance of Percy and Grover's friendship. So you're looking at your character's actions and thinking about how they could be feeling from those actions. If you're unsure about your activity, you have any questions, or you want to send me some pictures of your inference bubbles, then my email address is on the Year 6 class page.